From what we know about VLANs, they allow us to logically separate networks for performance, manageability, and security. We use trunk links to carry multiple VLANs traffic. Because these VLANs are segmented, you'll need help from the network layer to allow inter-VLAN routing. Inter-VLAN routing allows certain VLANs to communicate with each other. Let's talk about legacy inter-VLAN routing. This can only be done with a router with as many physical interfaces as it supports. So, we have this network, and we have this router. This router only has 2 physical interfaces on it, meaning we can only allow 2 VLANs to communicate. Here's an example on how to set up legacy inter-VLAN routing. We need to create 2 different VLANs on 2 different switches and configure the interfaces. After that, we need to configure both router interfaces with default gateways that reflect the VLANs. With the switches configured, the router configured, and the hosts configured with their respective IP addresses, subnet masks, and default gateways, we can do inter-VLAN communication. Router on a stick is a newer method for inter-VLAN routing. This requires us to create something called sub-interfaces. Now, we only need 1 physical router link for this to work. To begin, we need to create VLANs on the 2 switches, assign VLANs to the respective ports, and we need to configure our respective hosts with their information such as IP addresses, subnet masks, and default gateways. Here on the router, this is how you create a sub-interface. Notice how we add a .10 here on the interface. This is for VLAN 10. We have to do this for VLAN 20 as well. From here, do encapsulation.1q followed by the respective VLAN. This tells the router that this is a trunk link for VLAN 10. After that, we have to add the IP address for this default gateway with the subnet mask as well. We need to do this for both VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Once we've done everything shown here, your inter-VLAN routing should be up and running. If you ever need to troubleshoot, be sure to check your VLAN configuration on both routers. Ensure that your encapsulation is correct. Make sure that you use the correct default gateway for your interfaces that matches your host configuration. Ensure that you have the correct sub-interfaces, and make sure that both switches are configured with the same VLAN databases. Configure inter-VLAN routing for layer 3 switches, but that's not covered in this series. That's pretty much going to be it for this episode. In the next one, we're going to be going over static routing.